I knew I could handle the pain of everything, but your mind goes to places you don't want it to go, especially when you're thinking of your kids. I was diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma in my salivary gland. Right here under my jaw is where they found it. I noticed it right after having a baby. So it was kind of hard to tell, is this postpartum stuff, like after having a baby? Maybe I lost a little bit of weight in my face and that's why I could feel it better. There wasn't anything that was like, oh my gosh, this is not right, other than there was just a small little lump under my jaw. I brought it up at my 6-week appointment after having the baby. I noticed it, it was on my mind. And of course, I'm sure she was like, oh, any concerns, anything new? I brought it up. She really didn't pay much mind to it. She didn't even like feel for it. She just said, well, your body's adjusting, you're breastfeeding. I'm sure it's just a lymph node. Your body's doing weird things right now. So I'm sure it's fine. A lot of the times you take your doctor's word as that is that, or that is fine. But if I would have done that and just figured, oh, it's fine. She said it's fine. Then that would have led to it progressing way beyond what it was. I would not have the outcome that I had today. In your gut, just taking that, and if you need to find someone else, a second opinion, no one will turn you away for wanting a second opinion. A year later from that initial appointment, I think something is going on. There weren't really any other symptoms, but it never went away. I am a dental hygienist, so that probably helped me with this isn't right. I brought it up to my doctor. She then did palpate it. I eventually ended up at the ENT. They took a needle biopsy, which is not pleasant. It was not normal. It was cancerous. So from there, we scheduled surgery, and that gave them a more detailed look at what exactly it was. They took out the tumor. They also took out about 8 lymph nodes just to check to see if it had spread. I did have like a drainage tube. The treatment was way worse. There's not a lot of research, so they don't really know exactly how to plan it. The most typical for this type of cancer is radiation therapy. It is chemoresistant. I was to do 30 rounds of radiation. You do it every single day, back to back, for the 30 days. I went in the morning and I went in the afternoon on a couple days because they weren't open on Christmas and they weren't open on New Year's Day. That just meant that I just got double dosed a couple days, which at that point it was towards the end of my treatment, and that just completely zapped me. Like I was so just exhausted by that point. Obviously it was head and neck, so it's very targeted. So they try to get just exactly where they need to be. My throat was very sore. I would just blend up the food. I literally could not swallow anything, just hurting. My voice, even now, like if I'm talking a lot, I can tell that my voice gets a little bit like scratchy. My skin was like sunburn times like 100. With the radiation, it does take a while. So it was like nothing was happening for the first 2-3 weeks. By the end, it was like this whole area was just red and sore, and the skin was like oozing, and I had to have it dressed. So they would put a wet compress and then wrap it. Honestly, I felt more like secure. The absolute worst part of that was taking a shower. The water, just touching it, very painful. Even after like the 30 doses were over, the radiation is still working. So it was still working for quite a few weeks Even afterwards, like the muscles in my neck got really, really tight. I did have to see a physical therapist to kind of go over different stretches I could do just to kind of loosen up all the muscles. And because even now, like my range of motion isn't what it was just because of what the radiation does to your tissues. I knew I could handle the pain of everything, but your mind goes to places, especially when you're thinking of your kids. My kids at the time were 1 and 3. So grandparents were amazing. Towards the very, very end, when I was like sleeping most of the day, they were just staying at my in-laws. Kind of brought on a whole different set of obstacles as far as like the whole family, like healing from everything. They were really little. They didn't really know what was going on. They obviously see my scar, but they don't know. With them being away and them being so little, they do still have some like separation anxiety, especially my 1-year-old. Like when he would come home, we had like baby gates like on the stairs and stuff. And if I had to like go get something, like run upstairs real quick, he would literally just like throw himself trying to get to me because I'm sure he was afraid like I was going to leave. We had to put him in a toddler bed super, super early because he would, again, throw himself over the crib just to get to me. They don't even really know what's going on. So it was hard. It takes a long time to recover. I finally started feeling like myself maybe a year and a half after treatment. Taking the time to do things for me, that's helpful for anyone, especially like new moms. You still need to do some stuff for yourself, but especially like when you have a sickness and illness that has taken you out of commission. Get back into what makes you happy. I started running, which I had done in the past, but it had been a while. I had always wanted to do pottery, so I signed up for a pottery class. I fell in love with it. So I am so glad I did it. I have a little tiny studio in my house now that I can just do it on my own time, using my hands and just creating something from basically nothing. You just get a whole different perspective. I kind of found myself again. It makes my family happier because I'm happier. I don't take life as seriously as I once did. Things don't matter the way that people think they do. There's so much that you don't do in life because you think, oh, you shouldn't do that, or that's not what I should be doing, or you're 35, so you shouldn't be doing that. I got a tattoo. Beforehand, I would have never gotten a tattoo on my hand because that's a no-no. Like, you don't get a tattoo on your hand. So it's like just things like that. I wanted it on my hand. I like it there. It says magical. I have a best friend and it was kind of like an inside thing, but I also wanted it like as a reminder that life is magical. I have connected with other people that have this type of cancer. And of course, we're going to kind of compare who's doing what. And it seems like everyone's doing something a little bit different. You can tell people all of this information and they'll understand, they'll relate to it, but not to the extent of someone who's been through it. Your mind is a very powerful thing, good or bad. It'll get you sometimes, but take it as it comes. Every day is a new day, and just see the good in everything. See the magic in everything.
If you were moved by this story, we think you'll also enjoy this one, which we've queued up for you right here on your screen. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the patient story right here so that you can be notified about all of our recent uploads. Thank you for watching. You are not alone.